how did you apply to Uber and how did you get a chance to interview with them?
So one of my friend who was in Uber, so he reached out to me, informing that there is a hiring going on in Azure. So Uber is actively hiring a lot nowadays, and I believe if you are active on LinkedIn, you can see a lot of job openings there.
What's the general range that a L4 or a SD2 in Uber gets, right? The take-home compensation in rupees.
Yeah, so I would say that the range would start from, then there is a dedicated DSA round, then there is a tech specialization round that depends on whether you're interviewing for front end or back end or full stack.
Can we do DSA in JavaScript? That's a very famous question everybody asks you.
Yeah, so
But what kind of system design questions are asked, Shreya, in your interviews?
from me, they asked me a very famous system design question called, it would be really difficult to solve the question in that particular time frame. For system design, I asked some of the senior engineers in my previous company to just take my mock interviews.
So, hello everyone. So, I have Shreya Prasad with me and she's working as a SD2 front end in Uber. So, today we'll be discussing her journey, her interview preparation tips and tricks, and what were the questions that were asked in her interview, and a lot of fun conversation that we'll be having today. So, welcome Shreya to my channel.
Thank you, Akshay, for inviting me.
Yeah, great. So, let's just start, Shreya. So, can you tell me a little bit about what you are doing in Uber these days and where were you previously working before Uber? A little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So, I joined Uber back in September, early September. And since then, I have been working on a product that is basically on a B2B side of things. It's not an app that is generally being used by normal consumers, like normal people. And like prior to that, I have been in Atlassian. So there I worked on two products, Jira and Jira Service Management. And I was mostly on the growth side of things there. And before that, I was at Intuit. So Intuit was the first company that I worked for. And there I worked on a product called TurboTax. So it is a product that is used for filing taxes in countries like US, Canada, and so UK, and there are many other countries. So it's been like 3+ years in the front end domain, and in my career also in general. So yeah, this is like.
So, one question that I wanted to ask you is, see, Uber is a dream company for a lot of students out there, and everybody keeps on reaching out to me and says that, Akshay, how can we join Uber and how can we prepare for companies like that? So, I just wanted to ask that, how did you apply to Uber and how did you get a chance to interview with them? So that other people can follow the same route, or you can suggest some ways how people can interview in Uber.
Yeah, sure. So actually, I was I was talking to folks who have recently switched to Uber and recently switched in general also. So they also were in a loop that, okay, I am actively interviewing for companies. So one of my friend who was in Uber, he reached out to me informing that there is a hiring going on in Azure and that he can pass on my resume. So I shared my resume, my so a paragraph in third person describing why I would be a good fit for the role. And he forwarded to the recruiter and his manager. So after a few days, I was reached out by the recruiter saying that, okay, they found my resume fit for the role and they would like to proceed ahead for the screening round. So I had my screening after a few weeks and based on my availability. And then once the screening was cleared, they were around 4 rounds as part of on-site.
Okay. So basically, to summarize it, you got a referral from your friend. Okay.
Yes.
And what I remember when I was in Uber, so basically referral are really counted as a great source, right? For shortlisting. And definitely if somebody is watching over here and wants to get into Uber, then definitely you can ask somebody for a referral if you have any friends, or reach out to people on LinkedIn or something, right? Shreya, also tell me that, okay, right now when you are working in Uber, so how is the hiring going on in Uber? Is hiring still active, or Uber is not hiring? What's the status right now at this point of time?
So Uber is actively hiring a lot nowadays, and I believe if you are active on LinkedIn, you can see a lot of job openings there. So if you are actively preparing for interviews, then feel free to reach out to any Uber employee and they will be happy to give you a referral.
Great. So that's a great news. And I keep on hearing these layoff news and all that stuff, but it's such a great news to see that okay, Uber is hiring. So everybody who is listening to me and wants to get an offer from Uber, then definitely you can try it out. Uber is actively hiring right now. So great. So let's move on to the next question, Shreya. So basically, this is a very controversial question, and a lot of people are fascinated by this. But what do you think? I'm not asking about your salary as per se, but what do you think? What's a general range that a L4 or a SD2 in Uber gets, right? The take-home compensation in rupees.
Yeah, so I would say that the range would start from 60 onwards, and this
Okay.
number is also present in levels.fyi. So
Okay.
if you want to know the latest numbers, you can always refer to that site.
Okay, but it is okay to assume that, okay, you can also ask for 60, 65, 75 LPA for an SD2 role, right? That's a fair number to ask and can get, right?
Yes. So the way compensation works here is that if you have a competing offer, so they will try to offer you like some percentage more than the competing offer. So if that if that offer is like higher than Uber, so then only like they will try to match it.
Exactly. So basically it should fall into a range, and then if you have a competing offer, then you have a better chances of negotiation.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. So Uber pays really well, right? That's one of the biggest perks that I have seen, even when I was at Uber, right? So one great reason why I joined Uber was its package. So everybody who is watching this video should definitely try it out once. The experience is really great. Okay, so let's move on to Shreya. Let's move on to the interview rounds. What kind of interview round does Uber takes for an SD role, right? What are the different type of rounds? Just name all of them. Then later on, one by one, we'll go inside these rounds and talk a little bit more about it. What are the rounds?
Yeah, sure. So there is one screening round that happens.
Screening. Okay.
Then there is a dedicated DSA round.
DSA. Okay.
Then there is a tech specialization round that depends on whether you're interviewing for front end or back end or full stack. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Then there is a system design round, which is HLD, and you have to design some system there. Then you have a bar raiser round in which you have to basically, it's a you can say it's a behavioral round in which your past projects and some situational questions are asked.
And what about hiring manager? I think there is one more hiring manager round.
Yeah, so you can call like the behavioral round and hiring manager is sort of the same thing.
Same thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, you said there are 5 rounds. The first one is screening, the second is DSA, the third is tech specialization, if I'm right, and the fourth one is system design, and the fifth one is hiring manager. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. So that's great. So let's one by one discuss each round. So first round, as you said, is screening, right? I think that round is basically what kind of round it is. What is the what type of questions are asked? What is the duration of that round? Can you tell a little bit more about it?
Yeah. So every round in Uber is like around 60 minutes only.
Okay.
And in that round, I was asked a combination of DSA and front end. So basically, they assess an overall knowledge, and the complexity of the questions are mostly on medium side, because they are assessing a lot of areas, right? So that is the reason why they keep it on the medium side.
Okay. A little bit of idea about what kind of a DSA question you can expect. Just give a random DSA question if you have in mind. What level?
So I would say that if you go to LeetCode and if you see Uber tagged questions, so it's like whatever medium question you can find from that list, like I would say that you can expect like questions can be asked from that list.
Okay. So basically kind of like you can ask a tree question or something. Is it?
Yeah, you can ask 3 questions, stack questions.
So if you have an idea what question was asked to you, can you just point that out?
So I can point out the data structure, but I don't think I can point out the exact question.
Okay, just tell us the data structure or what kind of a question it was.
Yeah. So it was a medium question based on stack, and there was a follow-up question as well on that.
That is obviously there, right? When I used to take interviews in Uber, so Uber has a definite criteria, right? You ask a question, and then there is always a brownie point that you get if you solve it. Solve a little higher version of it, right? Basically,
yes.
Follow-up questions, you can answer follow-up questions. You get points for that. Okay. So great. And what kind of front-end questions were asked in this round? So basic JavaScript questions?
So yeah, if I remember correctly, it was around polyfills only, like
Okay.
the coding part. Then there
Okay.
were some like verbal questions, based on React and basic like JavaScript concepts.
So basically, it's testing you a little bit upon your data structure skills, plus a little bit upon your JavaScript coding skills, right? That's it.
Yes.
Okay. So that's the screening round, and I suppose that if you fail the screening round, you are out already, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's kind of like an elimination round. I remember.
Mhm.
Great. So let's move on to the other round. So basically, now comes the most famous DSA round, right? So what can we expect in DSA rounds, right?
So DSA is obviously on the harder side, and
Okay. Mhm.
if you are in front end, I would expect that you are very proficient in medium questions at least, like lead code medium questions, and you're somewhat comfortable with at least the interview standard questions that are of hard level, right? Because what they do is that they will give you a question, but they will expect you to solve it very quickly so that they also get time to ask follow-up questions.
Follow-up questions. Yes. Sometimes it's not just the one question. You might be getting two questions in 1 hour, right? That's how we do.
Yeah, that can also happen. So in my case, I was asked two follow-up questions, and I had to modify my approach, like the existing code, to suit the follow-up questions.
Okay. So if you can tell a little bit more, not the question, but a little bit about the data structures and what kind of a question it was.
So it was actually based on dynamic programming.
Okay.
So like arrays were involved, and like you had
Okay.
to, yeah. So there was a lot of variations around like constraints and everything. So this is the maximum I think I could.
No, it was that's fun. That's okay. And let me tell you, everyone, that if you are preparing, first of all, Uber expects you to be good at DSA, whether you are a front end developer or a back end developer, and you should be able to solve the DSA questions, right? Just find the Uber tag question on LeetCode. I think that would be a great place to study from, isn't it? Shreya?
Yes.
Right. That's a great place. And one more famous question, right? That a lot of people ask me, and I am tired of telling. Can we do DSA in JavaScript? That's a very famous question everybody asks you.
Yeah, so honestly, it all depends on you which language you want to choose. So since Uber is like a big tech company, so they are pretty okay with whatever language you choose for DSA. It's just that when it comes to tech specialization rounds, then they expect that, okay, you will use a particular language.
Yeah. So that's what I keep telling everybody, that DSA is not specific to any language or something. You can use any language to solve DSA questions. The major thing that the interviewer is expecting you is that your whatever language you choose, you should be good at that language and should be able to code the solution and communicate basically your thought process and the solution to the interviewer, right? So you have heard from the Uber engineer itself, right? The current Uber engineer. So I think everybody has got the answer for that. Now let's talk about the next round, which is tech specialization. So tech specialization for front end means JavaScript, isn't it? Or particular framework?
So there is no particular framework. So there could be this interview could go in two directions. Either they could test your pure like JavaScript fundamentals, or they could ask you a UI based question. So either of these two things could happen.
And what type of questions can I expect in this round?
So mostly I would say that advanced JavaScript questions. Like I would not say that the questions asked here are pretty easy. It requires a lot of practice and understanding of advanced JavaScript concepts, like the way you're handling async JavaScript, memoization, and currying, and all sorts of advanced concepts. When it comes to UI based questions, you are expected to give a working demo of the solution. Your code should be clean, it should be of high quality, it should be readable and bug free. So like standard like expectation.
You are absolutely spot on, Shreya. What I remember, right, when I was in Uber, so I was a part of the team which used to make interview questions. So I remember, and let me give an advice to everybody who is watching this video, that if you are not really good at JavaScript and you don't know, you can't write JavaScript fluently, then definitely you won't be able to cross this round. because either the questions, if the questions are JavaScript specific, then it would be too much of JavaScript heavy. Like you might have to do random things using async, a lot of asyncs inside async, or a loop inside async, and all that kind of a stuff. And if it is not that, then it would be kind of like a machine coding kind of a round, right? A LLD machine coding kind of a question that will be given, and you'll have to code very fast. Otherwise, you won't be able to finish it in 40-45 minutes of the time that you get in the interview. So be prepared for that. Am I correct, Shreya? Or anything you would like to add more on top of it?
So I mean, if I remember correctly from my interview, so the question was so long that I think it took around 3/4 length of my screen. So I I mean, the question might not also be very straightforward. So you will have to read through it, figure out what are the important details, parts that are not relevant for solving the problem. So what they are assessing is like how well you are able to comprehend the question and figure out like, okay, what is it that you need to do? Because this is something that you anyways need to do in your day-to-day work as an engineer.
Absolutely spot on. So basically, it's like you'll have to be good at communication with the interviewer also, right? Basically, you'll have to come to a common ground that this is what the interviewer is expecting and this is what you are coding. It should be aligned together, isn't it?
Yes.
Right? Otherwise, you might be developing something which the interviewer is expecting something else. Then it can be a red flag over there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, communication is also an important part.
Great. So let's move on to the other round. So basically, the other round is system design round, and I think this is only asked for SD2s and above, right? I think L1, L3 does not have a system design round. But what kind of system design questions are asked, Shreya, in your interviews?
So, like from me, they asked me a very famous system design question called Google Calendar. So,
Okay. Yeah. Very
there-
famous.
yeah. So, like I prepared, I had sort of prepared that beforehand also. But there could be scenarios where the same question can be asked in two different interviews, and they could go in entirely different directions. So that is something that you can never know in a system design interview. So this was very front end focused. So what the way I solved it like is by using a radio framework. So this is a framework that you can use to structure your answers and to give some direction to the interview. Otherwise, yeah, because the idea is that you have to take control, you have to drive the interview, and you have to nudge the interviewer in such a manner that whichever area is your strong point, you are able to communicate that to the interviewer.
You're right. So basically, you mentioned a very good point over here, Shreya, that the questions can be very open-ended, right? The interviewer generally says, okay, you design a Google Calendar, or you just design Google Sheets, or you just design Instagram. But then the interview can go in like all random directions, and you don't know about it, right? Basically, you can just go on developing specific features, or you are just doing some kind of a measurement of capacity estimation, or maybe how do you handle load, talking about performance, talking about security, talking about the LLD or HLD of few components. So it can go in very random directions. So I understood your point, but that's a great sum up, right? So anything else, like where did you prepare your system design round from, right? How did you, prepare for it? Were there any specific resources you were following or reading articles?
Yeah, so system design was a bit tricky because I could not find many front-end resources on the internet that are sort of structured for the interviews. So what I did was like I normally referred to YouTube videos that are free and available for everyone. I also saw like there was a course by in Namaste Dev. So there was a course called Namaste System Design.
Front-end system design.
Yeah. So I referred that and it helped me a lot because it was structured and I could understand like, okay, what are the topics that I need to study? In which order do I need to study? And I used to like also like go through some MDN docs as well in order to understand certain concepts. And it was it was a combination of these different resources that I used to prepare for system design.
Okay. So happy to know that Namaste Front-End System Design was helpful to you. Okay, one more thing I wanted to ask you is that, you know, I think that's all right. Acha, one more round is there, right? Let us discuss that round, then we'll sum up everything. Okay.
Yes.
So the next round was hiring manager round, Shreya. Was your hiring manager round a little technical? Because see, what my experience was when I used to take interviews, sometimes the engineering managers were asking technical questions also. It was kind of like a uh, technical plus management kind of a round. So how was yours, and do they still ask some technical questions, or it was purely behavioral for you?
So they try to deep dive into the tech details when you are discussing your past projects. So obviously these like managers, they do have like technical knowledge as well. So they try to understand, yeah. So they try to understand how much ownership you had in that project, and what was the tech complexity of that project, and what is your contribution in that particular project. So they try to like assess all these different things by asking, like by diving deep into the project. That
Yes.
is one
And
thing.
they are very good at spotting lies also. If you
Yeah.
try to fake it, they'll catch you within seconds.
Yes. Yes.
So how was it? Can you tell a little bit more about, okay, so they, how the interview started and what can you expect in these hiring manager round? So and basically how the interview went through, like they started by asking and grilling you down into your past projects. Is it how it was?
Yeah. So I mean, it started with the introduction of, and then they tried to ask, okay, what are some of the things that you have worked on in your previous company? uh like first, it's obviously the high level details, and they try to like understand the product as well, like, okay, what is the product, and in that product, what is the problem that you were trying to solve. then
Okay.
they grill into the technical details. They try to understand what are the challenges you faced, what is the scale at which you are trying to solve a particular problem, or what was the impact of your work.
Impact you created.
Yes. And what was the timeline of the project? How many members were involved in that particular project? And how many stakeholders were there? Like, who all folks were you, like, keeping in loop while you were working on that project? All those sort of questions are asked. And you can also expect some, uh, they can ask, like, okay, why were you using this particular technology? Why not some other technology? And so on.
Hmm.
If they have knowledge in that particular domain, they can easily ask these questions.
And what else, like apart from these questions, apart from your resume questions, were there any other specific questions did they ask about any leadership skills or situation questions or something like that?
Yes. So they do ask you situational questions, and they try to see, like, how are your answers aligning with Uber's values. So they try to
Okay.
see whether you are a cultural fit or not. And
Mhm.
like, it's very easy to like for them to understand whether someone is, how basically truthful someone is in giving answers for all of these questions, because they have been taking these interviews for like a really long
Yeah.
time. And they also try to understand how interested you are in this role and in the
Okay.
company, how much you know about the company, how much you know about the culture, the cultures, the values, and all these different things.
Okay, great. So basically, if you are already working on good things, then you probably don't have to study about for this round, isn't it? Right? Basically, it's more of from your experience that comes up. But yes, I still would suggest people to prepare your personal projects and always be spot on, because I have seen that not just Uber, but if you will give interviews, then probably you would be getting questions like, uh, what were the most difficult tasks that you have done in that project, or what was the most challenging portion or out there, right? Something
Yes.
similar.
Yes.
These kind of questions will definitely be asked, so obviously be prepared for it. Okay, great. I think we have already covered all the 5 rounds, Shreya. So can you tell a little bit more about how was your experience? What was the toughest round that you found out? What was the easiest, right? Can you just tell a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, for me, the toughest round was, I think, the tech specialization round. So,
Oh,
as
okay.
I mentioned earlier, the question itself was so long. Like, it took 3/4 length of my entire screen. So,
Uh-huh.
I had to go through that question, and it was a really advanced, like, a question based on async JavaScript, and it required like a lot of it was a combination of a lot of advanced JavaScript concepts, And if
Yes.
you are not comfortable with them, then it would be really difficult to solve the question in that particular time frame. Like in
And
the
then if you can tell me what kind of concepts were used, async JavaScript or something?
yeah, so async JavaScript, memoization,
Promises,
then
promises,
promises,
memoization,
yeah, and like there were some data structures also, like caching and all.
caching. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Great.
hmm,
So basically, you need to be fluent with your JavaScript skills. Okay.
yes, and it should be at an advanced level for
Advanced.
even at a L4 level.
Not even, right? It's a great level to be at, right? And definitely they would expect you a little more. Because see, when you will join the company, a L4 is expected to work independently on a project and can be able to take tasks and execute, uh, you know, uh, by themselves, right? So
Yeah.
if that expectation is there, then you should be really good at your coding skills. There
Hmm.
will not be anyone whom you can go and ask कि यार मेरे code में bug आ गया है and somebody will solve it for you. It will not be like that. You will be all independently coding. So the
Hmm.
expectation would definitely be like that as well.
Yes.
Okay, great. And what was the easiest round that you find in that whole process?
I would say it's system design because I love
Oh, is it?
system
Okay,
design, and
okay,
I found some really great resources that made
Mhm.
my preparation a lot more easier. So
okay.
means and like system design is something that you're directly like studying about real life applications, right?
And
So
it's fun.
yeah, it's fun, and that curiosity naturally arises. Like, oh, okay, this is how this is happening. This is how they are, managing so many users and all, like other different sort of problems that they are solving. So that is very interesting.
Okay, that's great, Shreya. So I think we have already covered a lot of questions. That were the only questions that I had for you. But can you just at the end, towards the end, just summarize and uh, give some tips to people? Suppose if somebody over here is already working in a company, right? 1 or 2 years experience, 3 years experience, and want to move to Uber for a L4 role. So what advice would you give it to them, right? Basically, any piece of advice that would have helped you a little. Maybe if you can just break it down into 2-3 points and tell कि यार ये चीजें पढ़ लो. That's very good.
Yes. So, firstly, तो मैं बोलूँगी DSA तो should be like very strong. So
Strong.
you should
Okay.
be able, yeah, you should be able to at least. So from a preparation perspective, I would say try to solve at least over typed questions in a particular time frame so that you are prepared for the interviews. First thing. Second thing, be very very comfortable with JavaScript. Like I think you can solve a lot of problems that are there over the internet. Do refer to previously asked questions because the chances of them getting asked is naturally high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So try to solve that, try to understand whether you are able to solve them in a particular time frame, and that would also give you an idea about like where you are standing in your preparation. Third thing, I would say do a lot of mock interviews. That will
Okay.
give you like the ultimate practice, and you will be like well adjusted to that interview scenario. Because what I have experienced is that even if you know a particular concept very well and you are able to solve the question, but when you see some stranger in front of you and they ask you a bunch of questions, you sometimes there is a tendency that you get blank, or either
Yeah.
you
Even
get
even though
very
you know the
anxious.
answer, even though you know the answer, you can
Mhm.
solve it if it was given to you earlier. But
Mhm.
then interview scenario, it becomes a little tough and challenging, is it? So
Yes.
so did you also prepared by mock interviews? Did you take any mock interviews?
Yeah, so I mean, I used to just ask my friends, like who are in front end, to take my mock interviews. That's how I started, and then eventually, I think for system design, I asked some of the senior engineers in my previous company to just take my mock interviews.
That's really great, right? I mean, I have seen very less people doing this, but it will really improve your performance, anyways. Because, see, it's also about communication. How do you communicate in a. See, you might be able to solve a problem in your own space, right? But then in an interview, when you have to talk, speak out your solution in front of somebody, a stranger, I would call, and that's a very different kind of a scenario. And what else? Any other advice you would like to give, Shreya? Anything else? JavaScript, DSA, and again mock interviews. Anything else?
Uh, I would say that just be very confident about the things that
Mhm.
you know. there will
Definitely.
always be things that you would not know, and you can never ever be 100% prepared for
Person
any
prepared.
interviews. So I think you just make your peace with it and just do it. I would say, even if you feel that you are not very prepared, that's where the mock interviews come in and help you and help you gain that confidence that okay, I can at least solve, like if I'm at 80% in a mock interview, I can probably do like 60, 70 in an actual interview. So you just assess your bar and you just try to increase it with time. So
Okay.
yeah.
That's great, Shreya. That's great. Cool. So thank you so much, Shreya, for joining in, and thank you so much for sharing your valuable suggestions and advice to all the young folks. And yes, everybody who is listening to us, obviously Uber is hiring, so you can try that out, right? It's a great company to work for, and all the best for your interviews. And thank you so much, Shreya, once again for joining in. And let's have one more conversation anytime very soon.
Yeah, it was great talking to you.
Thank you. Bye bye. Bye, Shreya.
Yeah, bye.